idea. Queen to b3 looks great.
Is he about to just go for that like insane line where the knight on f4 is hanging?
He does see it. Queen to b3. Been waiting for it. It's brilliant. Rook to d6 check will be the discovery that wins the queen. Magnus Carlsen is going down in Armageddon. Hikaru Nakamura getting the job done. A little bit of a spinny there, a spinny piece, and now we see Hikaru Nakamura almost the full duck lips there. Hikaru was happy with his position.
This is incredible. This is a masterclass from Hikaru so far, but Magnus gives up his queen. That was a discovered check. The black king had to run into the corner. It's going to be a rook and a knight for a queen. Magnus actually is quite fond of giving up material in this way. He doesn't care about queens. He really values piece play. Black does have a passed pawn on the d-file, but yeah, objectively, we know it's lost.
I don't think Magnus is fond of this particular one, though. I think he likes it, and he always senses that moment, David, to your point, to flip the script from a practical perspective, make his opponents uncomfortable. You're right, but not here. I mean, here White can put the bishop on e4, and won't be surprised if Hikaru does it. He's probably just calculating whether he can do even worse, like queen takes b7. But bishop e4 looks simple, coordinate, and when you've got 4 minutes on the clock, too, Anna, pretty tough.
This is an incredible game, and Hikaru Nakamura has been brilliant. The preparation, the way he found some of these extremely sharp moves, some of it was preparation, but the rest of it, like queen b3, he finds these double exclamation mark moves over the time within such a short think.
It's funny, I was wondering, I kind of had a feeling he was calculating queen takes b7. Indeed he was, and Hikaru is so accurate, David. You've said it many times, that when he has the chance to do whatever it is, to put his foot down in these positions and just ruthlessly convert, he often does.
Yeah, this is why he's so consistent in Title Tuesday, so dominant in Bullet Brawl. Hikaru, he senses when to change the speed. I mean, he's slowing down now, really professional, because he's done the hard work. He's got the material advantage. He's got 4 extra minutes. Blunder checking, that's the main job now for Hikaru Nakamura. Magnus needs a miracle, most likely based on running the d-pawn forward, but White has so many pieces are on the board right now. It's hard to imagine that working. Black's knights look nice, but they aren't on stable squares. This is a cleaning up job that Hikaru should be up to. Nerves are the only real thing that can get in the way right now. But Magnus, we saw it early in the tournament. 26 out of 31 Armageddon games won. That is incredible. It looks like this might be one of the rare exceptions.
And that was 26 out of 31, by the way, before he got Armageddon and won again. I believe it probably is even better now than it was. Not that the stats matter. You made your point. I'm just saying, yes, Magnus Carlsen is pretty dominant in Armageddon, and we'll get an accurate and updated Magnus Carlsen lifetime Armageddon score at some point, but yeah, point proven, and it's not easy to beat Magnus in the Armageddon format, but Hikaru on his way to doing it.
Yeah, Magnus fighting hard though. I love this last knight move, this jump from Black. It stops White's main plan, which was to push the pawn forward to a5 to destabilize the Black bishop, and that square was covered, but queen a6. Hikaru's so accurate. This knight now, the Black knight, if it jumps, if it captures a pawn, it might just get stuck, trapped on that square. The White queen will come back and catch it. Magnus, I'm guessing he's going to continue journeying in with his knights, but Black's bishop is actually a real source of concern here. Anna, Hikaru, he's just moved up all the gears. Look at the time advantage still intact.
This is huge, and this is move 28. Magnus still needs to play 13 moves before there's any increment. He's playing knight to d2 with the idea that then the knight can jump to b3. That's a way of stopping White from pushing a5. So I think he is at least finding an immediate way to not be immediately lost. But it's still concerning. Hikaru is pushing a5 regardless, so he's saying that I don't care about knight b3.
Yeah, I guess the idea was to maybe take the Black bishop, and the White pawn would have become super strong. But
Magnus is actually also trying to get a knight e2 check trick in at some point. It doesn't work right now because the queen can go all the way back from a6. She is spying that square, but watch out for the knights to get dirty there against the White's king. You have to be careful. Knight takes e4 would unleash a rook on f8 to maybe capture a bishop on f2 at the end of some of those lines. So the reason I highlight is because if Magnus can somehow remove the queen or play d3 and cut off the queen's gaze, it is tricky. You're right. So as best as you can make it tricky, down a queen, down a ton of time, and objectively losing against Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen is doing just that.
Yeah, he's staying alive, and that's the main thing. In a lost position, again, good tip for everyone at home, just postpone the inevitable. You might get a chance later. Just keep fighting as long as possible. Keep setting traps for the opponent to fall into. White's bishop moves, just preventing any of those tricks that you mentioned there, Danny. Really nice, maybe unexpected move there from Magnus. There was a peer over at the clock. He's getting nervous now. He knows he's got to speed up. He's not found his rhythm. Knight back to b3, attacking White's rook in the corner. The rook will shift. Centralize maybe to the d1 square. That would be the most logical move to blockade Black's pass pawn. What's Magnus got up his sleeve? It's looking tough.
Is he going to try to push the d pawn, but that invites the trade of bishops? He's doing so. His pass pawn is his only chance in this position, and the white king, if there's any tricks with the checks that you mentioned, Danny.
Yeah, but as you said, it also invites simplification now. And Hikaru, David, you already shouted it out, but I'm going to double down on the point. Hikaru managing that time advantage so well. And again, if you're watching this and you're a young, ambitious player or an ambitious tournament player, doesn't matter what age you are, the point is Hikaru really putting on a master class of dictating the tempo and just recognizing that why give my opponent any unnecessary chances? Use the other advantage I've earned, which is the one off the board on the clock. And that's why he's able to continue to play these just super accurate moves. And we called it material earlier on, that it was a material time advantage. And that probably paid off, because if that was a mutual time scramble, David, that might have been nasty. There were some tricks with the knights, and it wasn't fun. But now Hikaru has made it look easy, and I think this one is all but over.
Yeah, it looks like he's extremely close now. As long as he avoids any blunders to do with Black's pass pawn, then White has the queen. White also has some seriously strong pawns of his own. Yeah, again, note how Hikaru, he always pauses when there's about to be captures or some hardcore calculation needs to be done, when the opponent has a threat. When it comes to maneuvering, piece placement, he's so good at trusting his instincts there. So definitely one for any improving player at home. The most clinical way of doing this, I'm not 100% sure. I would really want to kick this Black Knight out of the f4 square, if possible. Will he try to do that with his queen with a pawn?
Yeah, you can play g3. You could play queen b4 as well, which attacks the knight and guards d2. Maybe even queen f7 as a way to attack the knight. Okay, he goes for the pawn move, which that's the most human way to do it. As long as you've calculated that your king doesn't get in trouble, that makes a ton of sense. And you love your queen where she's at anyway, because she helps the a-pawn advance. And
d2 by Magnus, though he's not moving the knight because he's got this trick with rook e1 check and promoting his pawn in case of a capture.
King f1. Now Hikaru in blue arrow territory. That's dangerous territory.
Oh, king
Gotta
f1,
find king f1.
The only way to keep his advantage.
Only winning move for Hikaru Nakamura. Under 2 minutes now. Will he find it? The blue arrow shows it. King to f1, covering any checks.
Talk about Magnus Carlsen just making life difficult. Here we are seeing Hikaru Nakamura put on a master class in Armageddon as White. Yet it's not easy against Magnus. And just, oh my God, he doesn't see it. He played queen b4.
Look at this, Magnus.
And rook d4. I don't think Hikaru saw that move.
He did not.
Oh my God!
The head shake shows that he did not see this. If the rook is captured, there's knight e2, fork, picking up the queen.
And he sees that he has to take d2 now. Wow!
Oh my gosh!
Now Magnus should
What a
fold.
comeback!
Oh my gosh, Magnus Carlsen pulling a rabbit out of the hat. Will it be enough? Remember, a draw wins as Black. All he has to do is hold this game to win in the Armageddon format.
He did everything perfectly, Hikaru, for 35 moves. On the 36th move, he slipped, he blundered. This should be a draw, but White's pawns are so dangerous. Look at them, racing down the board. This is still not easy at all for Magnus Carlsen. He will, however, get the increment now. They've just reached move 40, 1 second after every move. Can those pawns win the day for Hikaru Nakamura? He needs to win it all over again. The game started again, basically.
He needs to, and he knows it. And that's the hardest part, when you know that you were completely winning and you spoiled it. He needs to somehow put that behind him, but at the same time, he's playing a game with only a few seconds on the clock. Can he do it? Can Hikaru forget about his missed chance? Like, he was completely winning.
It may not even matter if he can forget about it, because at this point, the position is probably objectively holding for Black. And as long as Magnus Carlsen can do what he does, I am just shocked here. Hikaru played brilliantly. He brought brilliant prep to the board. He literally had a brilliant move in this game with queen to b3. He defined the term brilliant on his way to what looked like an Armageddon victory over Magnus Carlsen, but he's the GOAT for a reason. Magnus doesn't give up, and in this situation, heck, Magnus might be playing for a win here if he can gather some of those pawns. No, Hikaru might simplify.
Magnus might flag! He almost flagged! He wasn't down to 1 second, and there's only 1 second increment. He's about to flag again.
Wow, Magnus
Hikaru
trying to edge. 1 second again, he's going to
losing!
flag!
He lost
flagged!
the
Oh
time!
my gosh!
Oh my god, the reaction of Magnus.
What in the world did we
Cannot
just see?
believe it!
Magnus is like, he knows that he should have held. Hikaru comes back sheepishly, like, oh man, I don't know what happened there. Magnus smiles. What in the world?
Game! Hikaru was winning on the board, he was winning on the clock, then he wasn't winning on